Man, I was gonna lower the music and start the stream here, but we got some vocals here on this song. I think I might turn it up and let you guys listen to a little bit longer here. All right, I see JM's in the chat here. Alright, let's get it started. Hey guys, it's Damien. Welcome to the live stream here. Wow, Bitcoin had a pretty interesting weekend these last 2 days here, especially after what happened with Iran and now America getting involved. We're not going to get into the politics or anything like that, but it does affect the markets, and you can see here, looking at the daily chart here for the price of Bitcoin. Bitcoin flirting with going below 100 grand right now. It did go below $100,000 yesterday. Went as far down and as low as $98,225 before getting a bounce back. And it looked like this morning we were going to catch some more bids, but it appears as though we're starting to sell off here on Bitcoin again. But just zooming out to the overall picture here with Bitcoin, I still have this purple buy zone here, sitting at anywhere between $93,000 and $97,000 Bitcoin. We almost came into that purple buy zone. I was like, oh my god, we're really gonna do this. We're really gonna go into this this purple buy zone, and this purple buy zone here it's here because we have some moving averages that could provide us some support. We have the red line, this 200-day moving average, providing support at $95,000, almost $96,000 Bitcoin. We have the 100-day moving average, this blue line, providing support at $95,000, and then we have the green line providing support, and that's sitting at $95,800. So we do have some moving average support for you guys who like to use the moving averages. There is some support, and there will be traders that will put in their buy orders in for Bitcoin at that zone. There's also here, if I turn on the VRVP, you'll see there's a high volume node here, right? High volume node, and that's mainly because the people that bought Bitcoin back in late April and the first week of May here, they'll just be back to break even if Bitcoin comes into this buy zone here. That's pretty much where they bought their Bitcoin at. So there should be some support at that area if we do come down there. So I think, if you guys are worried about Bitcoin going down to like $80,000 or lower than that, first we have to chop through this support, this purple buy zone here between $93,000 and $97,000 Bitcoin. That's what I'm eyeballing here on the charts for Bitcoin. Now, just since I have the VRVP open here, let's take a look at what the VRVP is showing for data here. We do have a point of control at $104,700 Bitcoin. That's where the majority of people that bought Bitcoin in June throughout late May here, that's where they bought their Bitcoin at. So right now, those people are underwater, okay? They're not at break even, okay? But that could mean that Bitcoin's undervalued here. If they haven't sold their Bitcoin yet, maybe they might sell if it loses $100,000 Bitcoin here, okay? But most likely, if there's not any more sellers here, then we're probably gonna get pushed back up to $104,000 Bitcoin. And then the people that were sweating bullets that don't think they can handle the volatility in Bitcoin, they might actually start selling their Bitcoin when they break even again at $104,000 or $105,000 Bitcoin, and it might just not be for them, okay? But if Bitcoin is able to push past this point of control here, then we're looking at a drop in the volume here, and then we have some high volume, a little bit of high volume at $107,000, and a little bit of high volume at $109,000 Bitcoin, okay? And then the volume drops off, and obviously we don't really have that much volume at $112,000 Bitcoin, but that's where this value area high is sitting at, is at $112,000 Bitcoin. There might be some people that decide to get out of Bitcoin if Bitcoin even gets back up to those prices again. But just eyeballing what Bitcoin has done, we have a high, obviously the all-time high on May 22nd, and then we have a lower high. And if you're just looking at the daily candles, we are creating lower highs, and now we're creating lower lows, and we have what could be the beginning of a falling wedge here on Bitcoin. If I just connect that low, right, the lows here, and then just connect the highs here on Bitcoin. You know, you could just say that that could be a falling wedge slightly. That's going to take us probably, you know, it might take us down to this buy zone, this purple buy zone, okay? But usually falling wedges are bullish patterns, so you would think like if we do break out, it would be to the upside, and it would probably be heading towards $104,000, $105,000 Bitcoin all over again. And as you can see, as I'm over here talking to you guys here, Bitcoin, you know, did dip. We did see Bitcoin almost at $99,000, but now we're up to like $700. So the markets are pretty volatile today. I kind of want to get into the smaller time frames to see what exactly is going on out there, because it's a little bit of craziness in the Bitcoin market because we don't know what's going on with the Middle East right now. Well, we kind of do. Things are getting pretty bad in the Middle East. And now I think I've been hearing stories and threats that Iran might attack a U.S. military base, or they might just shut down the Strait of Hormuz and cause trouble for everybody, not just the United States. So a lot of things are being thrown around, and the markets just don't know how to digest that just yet. We're in kind of like a wait and see mode to see what Iran decides to do after they just been bombed by the United States bomber fleet here. But let's go into the 15-minute time frame, see what's going on there. That's a good place to start on the smaller time frames. I could go into 5-minute or 1-minute time frame, but this is a good way to summarize what's going on and kind of look at things with a microscope. And you can see like the 15-minute time frame, you know, we're looking at like data going back to like last week here. But you can see that, you know, we are making lower highs, lower high, lower high, lower high. And we're now threatening to make lower lows here as we stay in this falling wedge that I've created so far. It's like a descending triangle falling wedge, but it looks more like a falling wedge to me because we are going down steeper on the lower lows than we are on the highs here. So that does cause the falling wedge to start to form here. And you can always adjust this if you're a chart pattern guy. But yeah, on the 15-minute time frame, you can see that you know, we've been flirting around with getting above the red line here. This is the 200-day moving average, the 200 moving average on the 15-minute time frame. Every time you get above the 200 moving average, you could flip bullish, and then when you lose that red line on the 15-minute time frame, then you can start becoming bearish until we get back to that 200 moving average all over again here. It just seems like we've been through Chop City, and we also been on the downtrend here. So yeah, anytime, like you can see, like when we made a vigorous move here back on Friday, we got above that 200 moving average, only to get knocked back down again. And then, you know, here towards late Friday, we came down below that 200 moving average, right? Only to then come right back to it again. So the 200 moving average in the 15-minute time frame is a good place to figure out, like, you know, should you be bullish or bearish? And I even like going further into like the 5 and 1-minute time frames to figure out, like, you know, do I want to, when I'm day trading, do I want to be bullish or bearish on crypto? And right now, you could be bearish because we did lose the 15-minute time frame. So here we are. We're looking at the morning hours here on Monday. And you know, we got above that 200 moving average only to get a fake out. So that's why I said, you know, are we getting a fake out here? Are these bull traps and bear traps? And right now it looks like we just entered into a bull trap, right? And we lost the 200 moving average on the 15-minute time frame. And we could come down further, right? And probably head towards this purple buy zone, but now it looks like someone decided to draw the line in the sand at $99,000. Let's see, $99,600 is where we drew the line in the sand just now on the 15-minute time frame around 12:30 in the afternoon here. And now we're getting some bids, some buys here. I'm a bit curious. I want to see. I actually put in a leverage long, about, you know, before I started the stream. Let me see how that's doing right now. Jesus, come on. This thing just... Okay. So, my leverage long is actually up right now. I'm up about like $16 in profit. I'm just doing a small position right now because I really don't know what the market's gonna do next here. Because we've been getting a lot of choppiness in the market, but you know, I did put my leverage long in here for Bitcoin, and my stop loss is at 99,500, and my take profits at $103,000. Let me just check my orders here. Check the order, see how that's doing. Yeah, so I got a bracket order at $99,500 is my stop loss, and $103,000 is my take profit. And I can always add to the position if I want, but I'm not going to really do that because I'm not able to focus on trading and talking to you guys and doing requests at the same time here. I'm just going to keep the position small until I'm able to devote some more brain power towards, you know, trading today. But there are some moves to be made. There's some money to be made both long and short if you're day trading crypto. This is kind of like a day trader's market here, or even a swing trader's market. Really hard to be long-term investing in crypto right now because unless you're in Bitcoin, it seems like the altcoins are getting demolished. Every time Bitcoin goes down, the altcoins lose more than Bitcoin as far as like percentage-wise goes. And then when the altcoins, when Bitcoin starts recovering and goes up to the upside, the altcoins barely get a recovery. And it seems like money just keeps bleeding out of altcoins and going into Bitcoin for the moment here. But let me look at the 1 minute and 5 minute time frame real quick, and then we'll start looking at some of your requests here. Kind of get into like the day trading stuff. So usually my rule of thumb is that anytime you're below the 200 moving average, this red line on the 1 minute time frame, you can consider yourself bearish until you get above it. Right now we should be bearish. This could be a dead cat bounce on Bitcoin, and then we might go down to lower prices here. I might even have to go just stay in profit here. I might have to just sell my leverage long, even though I'm only up about 15 bucks, and just take the profits real quick when I can, because it's just that kind of market that we're in right now, unless I want to stay in the trade a little bit longer and see how things play out. But I wouldn't be surprised if we come up to some of these moving averages on the 1 minute time frame and then get rejected and go down to lower prices here for Bitcoin. Right now we have some of the moving averages. We have the 50 moving average at $101,200 Bitcoin. That might be a good area to sell if you're day trading Bitcoin right now. Could also come up to the 200 moving average, which is sitting at the $101,589. This would be a sell zone, right? Let me just try to draw that out real quick here for you guys. So in this area is where I would, if I'm day trading, I would start trying to sell, because the moving averages will start coming through there, and you could just do a quick scalp trade and sell your Bitcoin, and then try to buy back in at a lower price, or maybe even do a close in reverse and start short selling Bitcoin when it gets up to these moving averages here. Put your stop loss pretty tight at like 101,900. I'm just game planning things out. If I wanted to short, I could consider shorting, you know, this move if we come up into these moving average on the 1 minute time frame. Now let's go into the 5 minute time frame. All right, 5 minute time frame. Like I said, good rule of thumb: anytime you're below the 200 moving average, this red line right here, you should consider being bearish than bullish. And we just, you know, we flipped to being bearish here around like 11:55, right before 12 o'clock afternoon Eastern time here, is where you would have seen this, you know, this red candle close, and you would have said, all right, time to go bearish, right? And maybe do a quick scalp short on Bitcoin. Right now it looks like this scalp would continue playing out, because like we have this red candle showing up on the 5 minute time frame. We got 2 minutes left to close on this candle. You're looking to see if you're going to continue on this trend down to lower prices here, or if you see this thing start flipping green on you, that could be the low for now. Let's see. We could do a quick Fibonacci on this Fibonacci retracement to see where the levels might be. Yeah, I think this purple zone right here is going to be a sell zone, and if we come up to $101,500 Bitcoin, which is where the 200 moving average is sitting at, that's also where the 0.618 is sitting at. I would sell. You know, maybe even consider going into a short on Bitcoin here. But it looks like we're kind of just hanging around near the 0.236 level, $100,391 Bitcoin. This could be, if this move continues up to the upside, this could just be a higher low that's going to get formed, and then we go up to higher prices towards that purple sell zone right now. But yeah, I mean, this is what I do when I'm day trading Bitcoin. I look at the 1 minute and 5 minute time frames. I also look at the 15 minute time frame, get ideas like what's going on out there. Then I look at the moving averages, and then I'll figure out what the last swing high was and the last swing low, and I'll draw a Fibonacci. And usually the rule of thumb is that the price usually comes down to the 0.618, or if you already did go below that, usually you might get a bounce back towards that 0.618. So I'm eyeballing $101,500 Bitcoin right now, mainly because that's where the 0.618 hits hanging out at, and also that's where the moving averages are sitting at. I think if we do come up to that level, I'll close out my leverage long, and I'll probably consider going shorting on Bitcoin here. But yeah, I caught a little bit of this drop here, and I'm trying to see if we're gonna actually start moving up to the upside here, but looks like the market wants to bring us back down again. I might have to move my stop loss to break even if I want to not lose money on this leverage long. Let's see, let's go back to the portfolio here. Yeah, I'm kind of almost at break even right now, and I'm down $5, so I gotta move that stop loss, or else I'm gonna continue. I might get stopped out. I have my stop loss at 99,500, which is, we almost came close to that. You know, I'll let this trade play out a little bit longer. I think we might get this bounce here. Might, I say might, not sure. Let me go ahead and throw out some of the other indicators here. See what the RSI is doing on the 5 minute time frame. We had that oversold condition here at 12:30 at right when I started the stream at RSI of 19.57 here. And I'm just looking for a higher low to be formed here on the RSI, and also a higher low on the price. I think I could still stay in this leverage long, but I got my, you know, like I said, I got my stop loss right below the candle wick here on the 5 minute time frame. And that's how I decided to play Bitcoin for today. Looking at the MACD, I see that selling pressure is dying down, so this is making me feel a little bit confident that I can stay in the trade, because selling pressure is dying down on the 5 minute time frame here, according to the MACD. I'm looking to see if we're going to get some green candles showing up and get a little bit of buying pressure. Maybe this could have been the low for today. Who knows? Stochastic RSI is a little bit high in the 5 minute time frame. Let's see what's going on here. Dude, what my TikTok stream access just got removed. They're trying to say I'm talking about scams. I'm over here talking about Bitcoin, and over here saying, oh my god. So I guess maybe somebody, one of these haters, I guess, must have reported my live stream for fraud and scams. I have no idea, but my TikTok stream just got taken down. Okay. TikTok, I just don't know with you, TikTok. I really don't know. I'm gonna be a live streamer on TikTok and talk about crypto here. You guys keep taking it down. It's unfortunate. All right. Let's see how my my YouTube guys are doing here in the chat. I see Porky's in the chat. Hey Porky and Dylan, I see you in there. And John is asking, are we in trouble for altcoin season? John, it's looking like that. I mean, I don't know if altcoins can take another beating. They've been beaten down all throughout 2025. But I think once we don't have tariffs as a threat, and once we you know, start getting trade deals, we might start seeing an altcoin season just from that bit of news. And also, I think, you know, I just think that if we get a Solana ETF and a XRP ETF, that will also pour more money into the altcoin space, and then we'll finally maybe get an altcoin season when those ETFs start showing up for Solana and XRP. And then also Ethereum might be getting a staking reward ETF. So that's the last bit of hope that I have for the altcoins. I don't know what other positive catalyst is out there to keep the altcoins in a bullish environment. Let's see, what is Porky saying here? XRP looks amazing on the chart right now. All right, we'll take a look at XRP since you mentioned it, Porky, and I'm glad you're here. We'll do my analysis on XRP. I always see your analysis, and I think you love pissing off the XRP army with your 58-cent prediction. And you keep holding on to that number. You never change it. It's not like 59 or 60 cents. It's always like 58 cents. Anyways, let me go into the daily chart here for XRP. And we're looking at XRP currently trading at $1.96 right now, down 2.5% today. And in my previous live streams, I've said that, you know, with XRP, you know, once you lose the 200 moving average, you have to start considering yourself to be in a bear market. That's my opinion, especially on the daily time frame. If you're below the 200 moving average on the daily time frame, you have to admit to yourself, you have to start thinking like maybe we're in a bear market, and that might be what's going on with XRP. Because to be honest with you, you've been making lower highs on XRP ever since January. You had another significant lower high here in March, another significant lower high here in May, and you just haven't been able to make higher highs. How can you be bullish on an asset? In this case, how can you be bullish on XRP if you're not able to make higher highs than the previous high on these significant time frames here? So yeah, I can understand why you would be bearish on XRP. Now, how much lower could XRP go? I did have previous Fibonacci analysis here that shows that we have a 0.382 that says that XRP could come down to $1.63, but right now we're kind of hanging out at the 0.5 retracement at $1.97. So are we going to actually respect the $1.97 and actually move forward and onward and upward here? Okay. We have already made the test of the 0.382 at $1.63. We did that back in what, April 7th, when we came down to like $1.61, so just a little bit below that. Okay, but if XRP continues being bearish, we're gonna revisit those lows back here in April, and then if it really is a bear market, we might actually revisit the low, the 0.236 low here. We might come down to $1.21. Okay. On XRP. So those are my downside targets for XRP as of now, just using Fibonacci here. Okay. Now let me go ahead and clean things up here a little bit, and we'll turn on the VRVP, see what the VRVP has to say. The VRVP, you know, we have more volume, believe it or not, to the upside here. We have a lot of people that bought XRP at higher prices, so there are people who are now underwater on their investment in XRP, and it's mainly because people were buying at $2.13 and $2.30 and 40 cents here throughout majority of 2025. So you could say XRP is undervalued, but it could continue being undervalued. It could continue going to lower prices here. And we're starting to enter the danger zone because I feel like anytime you're below $2, I know the XRP army is trying to rigorously defend XRP. You know, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, XRP below $2, I'm buying more. So there's some of those people that are doing that right now as we speak, as we're looking at the charts here. They're getting excited to see XRP at $1.97 and they're clicking the buy button. Okay, but once you start losing $1.90, okay, and it becomes a little bit more real that XRP is not going to go above $2 again, then you start losing a lot of faith and hope in the XRP asset, and you will come down to that $1.60 level, but you really won't get a good amount of support at that level because there's not really that much of a high volume in there. There's actually high volume at $1.47, $1.48. $1.50 XRP might get some people excited to click the buy button on XRP. So I wouldn't be surprised if we actually violate the $1.63 level here and actually come down to $1.50. But there should be support at $1.50 to $1.60 on XRP if we have to come down to those levels to generate some demand on XRP. That's what we'll have to do. Let me see if my appeal on my TikTok went through here, because I don't, TikTok decided to take me offline here. Yeah, okay, so they actually approved my appeal. So they took me off the TikTok live stream. Let me go ahead and fire that up here again, guys. TikTok is just really strict and very funny when it comes to crypto. And usually I try to keep things clean and I just talk about, the popular cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum and XRP. It's when I talk about meme coins is when TikTok actually starts shutting down my live streams here. But I didn't even talk about any meme coins today. We only talked about Bitcoin and they decided to shut me down. But let me go ahead and just fire this thing back up again. Very unfortunate that they're so strict. I don't even know if it's I don't know if it's somebody that's mad at me and is trying to shut down my live streams, or if it's trying to say that I'm talking about fraud here, or if it's TikTok themselves that's has a computer or a bot that's monitoring my streams and they think crypto bad, fraud, and then they try to shut me down. But anyways, let me get this started here for you guys. We're going live again on TikTok. We're looking at XRP at $1.98. All right, XRP currently at $1.98. Maybe we'll get an XRP ETF later on this summer. I think the deadline is in October. But if it does get that ETF, then you don't be surprised to see XRP take off like a rocket. We'll probably hit this point of control, this blue line here at $2.40. As soon as we get that XRP ETF, and then once people start seeing that XRP is going to be getting an ETF, we'll break through that $2.40 resistance zone, and the volume drops off on the VRVP, and you'll see a $3 XRP in no time here, especially if we get that ETF for XRP. I see Lisa's in the chat. Good to see you in the chat, Lisa. And let's see, John 316. Iran sent missiles at U.S. Oh, did that actually happen just now? Because that would explain why we had a drop in prices as soon as I went live I went live 30 minutes ago. So there's some conflict in the Middle East. That's what's going on. Let's see, Bitcoin is at $100,800. Let me go ahead and get rid of the VRVP for now. And I was eyeballing the 1618 level here as I start zooming in a little bit on my chart. Ooh, I gotta bring this to forward. Yeah, let's see it. Bring that forward. I want that visual order sent to bring to front. Okay. All right, good. So $101,500 is what I'm eyeballing on this move up here on the Bitcoin price. Let's go back into the 50-minute chart. See, we are starting to get some green candles here now on the 15-minute. And my sell zone is going to be right over here. Between 101,000, kind of like where we're at right now, to $101,500. Let's turn on the moving averages here. And I'm going just light on the leverage, and I'm going small positions here because there's already crazy amount of volatility with what's going on in the Middle East, and I don't really need to swing for the fences when it seems like we're in a zero gravity environment where you just tap the ball and it's a home run. Okay, let's go ahead and see how my long is doing here. I'm up about 36 bucks on my leverage long here. Now it says 41 bucks. I think I'm actually gonna sell, guys. I'm gonna try to be quick on the profits. I'll cancel the bracket order, and yep, okay. I think I'm ready to hit that sell button if it'll let me. Let's go into the derivatives here. All right. I want Bitcoin. Give me some Bitcoin. Want the Bitcoin futures. Did I lose you guys here? Cause this thing is freezing up on me real here. Seems like I see Joe's in the chat. All right. And I didn't lose my internet access. Okay. Coinbase is being slow on me right now. Let me go ahead and click the refresh button. Alright. Okay, can I sell? I want to sell now. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll make it a market order. 5. Yep, I got 5 contracts for Bitcoin, and I'm going to click that sell button. Alright. Boom. And I just sold at my pretty much my take profit, because I was eyeballing $101,500 Bitcoin. Look at this. Yep, here we are. 0.618 retracement, $101,500 Bitcoin. 0.65 is the golden pocket. $101,600. We just hit that level. We're in my purple zone here, where I highlighted I want to sell my Bitcoin after catching this drop here. And yeah, I'll get rid of that for now. But the reason I did that is because there was some confluence. There was confluence between the retracement here on the Fibonacci, and then also the 200 moving average is going to provide resistance at $101,500. So I think this is a good area to sell after I caught this drop here. So I made a little bit of money there, guys. I think like 40 bucks, 50 bucks on that trade. You know, and I was only in it for like 1 hour, so 40 bucks an hour. That's good money for a lot of people out there. I'll go a little bit heavier on the positions and maybe use some more leverage when I'm not on the live stream, but I'll take that win for now. I'll take that win for now. We'll see what the charts are doing later. And we'll figure out what we want to do for trades. But we actually have a couple of YouTubers in the chat here, guys. I want to first show you guys their you know, because they're always helping me out, trying to get some more viewers on my YouTube here. I want to show you guys a couple other good crypto analysts here, technical analysts here. We got Trade Intuition. He's in the chat. He's got a couple of thousand subscribers. I'm trying to catch up to him on YouTube here. Would be nice. Let's go ahead and click on his channel here. He goes live, guys. Trade Intuition goes live from like every day, it seems, Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern time. So I think he just got done with his live stream, and now he's here checking me out. He also goes live on Saturdays and Sundays at 4 p.m. Eastern time. That's his schedule here, and here's his links. Okay, and he's got really good music. You guys should listen to some of his music. But he also does live streams as well. Does some shorts and some videos. Worth checking him out. Okay. And then Porky is always doing amazing shout outs here for me. Let's see. There we go. Another good crypto live streamer. He also talks about stocks as well. If you guys request stocks, I talk about stocks as well. If you guys request stocks, but I notice a lot of people like talking about crypto here. It's a little bit more exciting to talk about. But yeah, Porky, he's also going live just about every day, every night. Actually, he's a California guy. He live streams 8 o'clock California time, so that's like 11 o'clock for the East Coast guys like myself. But yeah, if you got some time, you should check out his channel. He's been doing some videos lately. He's got his should you buy the dip, Bitcoin and Ethereum pullback. Talks about the meme coins here. I don't want to talk too much about meme coins because I feel like TikTok is gonna shut me down again. But yeah, you guys should go check him out here on YouTube. Porky Flounder. He has a really great Discord. Let me just show his Discord real quick. First of all, I have my Discord here, trying to get some more people to start showing up here. But Porky's Discord, he has a lot going on in his Discord. He has a good amount of people just talking about everything. You see, I'm in this Discord as well. His Discord is free, and he also does chart requests. So if you want to look at a specific chart, he'll take a look at it for you. I asked him about the technical analysis on Circle here, and he actually looked it up for me. Gave me his opinion here. But yeah, here's a chart request about Aerodrome Finance. Seems to be the popular one these days, and yeah. So if you miss my live stream or you miss his live stream, you can do a chart request here on the Discord for Porky Flounder 65. You could probably find his link on one of his videos to join his Discord. Okay. All right, let's get back into the charts here. So we looked at Bitcoin, we looked at XRP. Is there any particular cryptocurrencies you guys want me to take a look at? Let's see. I don't think I have any specific requests here. Let me see how my TikTok guys are doing out there. And I just got people joining in right now. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, we'll take a look at some of the cryptos that I want to look at until I get a request here. Let's take a look at Aerodrome Finance. It's been a winner throughout most of this losing price action that we've had over the last few days here. Let's get into the daily time frame here for Aerodrome Finance. Aerodrome currently trading at 75, almost 76 cents here. And Aerodrome is respecting the TA in my opinion, right? Okay, we've had a pretty good month of June. Looks like we used the 50-day moving average as support for the most part. We kind of hanged out near the 50-day moving average until we started catching some bids out of nowhere. Looks like we caught the bids on June 12th here. We had up 22% in one day. And then we just continued going up and to the right until we basically hit the 200-day moving average. The 200-day moving average was acting as resistance. We went a little bit above it. Was able to close just one candle above it. But then we lost it on Friday, June 20th here. And now, Aerodrome Finance is just trying to make possibly a higher low here. I'll do a quick Fibonacci retracement to see what the levels might be if this thing continues going down a little bit lower. Okay. But the 0.618 retracement on Aerodrome is sitting at like 78, 79 cents. So we already came down to that. We're a little bit below that. And the 0.5 retracement, I think, is getting respected right now at 72 cents. Let's see, today we came as low as 72 cents. So it is a thing. The Fibonacci traders are using Fibonacci to put in their buy orders for Aerodrome Finance at 72 cents here. And then also, let's see, yesterday on Sunday, we came down as low as 71 cents. So I think, yeah, Aerodrome Finance is catching some bids at this 0.5 retracement. It's respecting that level. If we were to continue going lower, then maybe the 0.382 at, ooh, look at that, 666. 66 cents for Aerodrome Finance could act as another area of support. And you have the 21 EMA, which might come in, and also whoever uses 21 EMA might use that as their support for Aerodrome Finance. But I think Aerodrome Finance it's doing fine for now. It's just looking for a higher low, and then we would want to see Aerodrome Finance start to make a higher high at some point. The high water mark right now is at 96 cents. Okay, 96.5 cents, like we did back on Thursday here. You start doing that, and you get a close above this 200-day moving average, then you can stay. You can be bullish on Aerodrome Finance. I might have to go buy some more Aerodrome Finance after I'm done with this live stream here, guys. I think this is a crypto worth getting into. It's decentralized. It's a decentralized exchange using the Base network. So that has some affiliation with Coinbase. And I think, you know, Coinbase is going to try their hardest and darndest to advertise and market their Base protocol. And they will also advertise Aerodrome Finance as part of that. So I think Aerodrome Finance has the marketing that it needs to continue getting more buyers interested in it. And if we do get an altcoin season, this will be a benefactor of the altcoin season if it comes up later on this year. So I would consider, you know, maybe getting involved with Aerodrome Finance, because just looking at the 1618, we could see Aerodrome get up to like $1.27, and then we have the 2618 that says Aerodrome could get up to $1.75, and we have seen Aerodrome Finance at higher prices here. I think this one could revisit the highs that it made back in December when this thing was as high as like $2.21. Mainly because this is a project that actually makes money. The decentralized exchange collects fees every time you trade. And if it's able to make money, you'll be able to get somebody on Wall Street to invest in it. You'll get venture capitalists and other smart money to coming into it. And they'll find out a way to make money if this asset's able to make money for them. So I think this thing does have future potential here. All right, let's see. Oh, you're welcome, Porky, for the shout out, and you as well, Joe. Trade Intuition. Let's see. Very quiet here on my TikTok, but I do see some requests. You want me to take a look at SoFi, CC? Hopefully you're still in the chat. Just put a 1 in the chat. Let me know if you're still here. And then I have another request for Solana. Okay, so we'll look at SoFi, and then we'll look at Solana. Appreciate the request. Thank you for joining the channel. Consider hitting that follow button so you can see me go live again. And if you're one of my YouTube guys here, hit that subscribe button. All right, let's take a look at SoFi. So this is actually a stock on the NASDAQ. Don't really get that many requests for stocks, but when I do, I really appreciate it, because I don't want to just be a one-trick pony talking about crypto all the time. So we have SoFi currently trading at $15.04. What can I do here with the TA? Looks like, SoFi got beaten down in 2025. Beginning of 2025 seemed like it was a good January 2025 was like the high watermark here. You have a high at $18.42, and then you have another lower high here, and another lower high, and it looks like you got beaten down, and you put in the low for the year, hopefully, at April 7th, when we saw SoFi at $8.60. You pretty much doubled. Yeah, I mean, from here, you doubled in price. And you are above most of the moving averages here. You are creating higher lows and also higher highs, so you are in an uptrend on SoFi here. But this is starting to look almost like possibly a rising wedge. I don't know if I draw it out from like here, yeah. So if I get rid of the moving averages for now, you are in a rising wedge. Rising wedges, although you can still make money as you're rising up in the wedge, usually the rising wedge, it will break down to the downside. So most of the time, it will break down. The probability that it will break down out of this rising wedge, and it won't break up to the upside. There's a slight chance that it does break out to the upside, but it's a smaller chance than just most likely. It's either going to do one or two things here. Most likely it's going to go sideways and just stay at $15 for the most part as it breaks out of this falling wedge to the side here. Or it could actually break down to the downside, and it might come revisit the lows here back in May when we saw this thing as low as $12.70 here. So be on the lookout. SoFi, I don't know what SoFi has going for it. This is a stock, so there might be some company specific news that could send this thing to the upside here and actually break out to the upside. But if there's no catalyst or company specific news for SoFi, then I would expect this thing to just go sideways unless we get some bearish macro news, okay, that affects the markets. If they raise interest rates for some reason, or we go into a recession, then yeah, this thing could come down most likely to the $12 area, in my opinion here. Just my opinion, not financial advice. Never financial advice. This is just, I'm just a guy on YouTube and TikTok talking about stocks and crypto and what I think might come next. But I'm not a fortune teller. I just use technical analysis to give you what the probabilities might be. And this thing looks like it's already had its run up, and it might have to go sideways for a little bit here. Now let me go ahead and throw on some indicators here. Let's see what the RSI is doing on this this stock here. We got the RSI, this red line here. Let's see. Looks like we got almost overbought here on June 11th. And now you're making a kind of like almost like a lower high here on the RSI. So I think I can identify we have what could be the beginning of bearish divergence here on SoFi. Right? We obviously can see that the price is making higher highs here, but we have lower highs on the RSI. This leads me to believe that SoFi, it doesn't have to go down, but it might just go sideways. It might just kind of like trade sideways for a little bit here. If this thing breaks out of this downtrend on the RSI, then I would say that, yeah, this thing has the possibility of probably making another higher high on the price. Okay? But you need to see yourself break out of this downtrend on the RSI for you to confirm that you can still be bullish on this asset here. Don't see anything too remarkable on the MACD here. You just got some green candles here. If you start seeing light green candles showing up on the MACD, that probably means that the buying pressure is dying down, and you might start getting some selling pressure, which would be the red candles here on the MACD. So just be on the lookout for that. You are kind of getting a light green candle right now, today, on SoFi. And if that is another light green candle tomorrow and the following day, then yeah, that probably means that the price is coming down or wants to go sideways for now. So I think, you know, the move has been made on SoFi. You're just waiting to have the oscillators cool down a little bit, and I guess you're just waiting for more bullish news here for the stock. Looks like you have earnings report coming up in August. Maybe that might be the bullish catalyst that would send this stock higher, but I think you're probably going to go trade sideways for now until you get to August for your earnings report. All right, let's see. Turn up the brightness here. We have Solana as another request here. Let's take a look at the Solana. Alright, Solana currently trading at $136.09, up 3% today. I'm just looking at the RSI since I have it open. Might as well take a look at it. Looks like you are making lower lows here on the RSI for Solana. But I don't see any divergence. I don't see bullish or bearish divergence. Solana's just getting, you know, getting his butt kicked along with the other cryptos here. I don't see anything too remarkable on the indicators so far. Let me go ahead and throw in the moving averages. See what that looks like. So yeah, Solana was doing pretty well back in May here, where we were trying to get above the 200-day moving average. We had one day close above 200-day moving average, and then we flipped it and reversed it. And we treated this 200 moving average as resistance, this red line here. And we came back up again, and we retested the 200-day moving average on May 23rd. I think that's when like Bitcoin got to $112,000, and we still lost, you know, the 200-day moving average. So that 200-day moving average is acting as a bully right now. It won't let the price of Solana go to higher prices. And at that time, you know, that was $180 is where. $181 is where that 200-day moving average is sitting at. Now, currently, this 200-day moving average has trended downward as the price is going down. And we only have to get up to $170 now in order to get above that 200-day moving average. If Solana can get above that 200-day moving average, stay above it, and use it as support to go to higher prices, then yeah, we could start being bullish again on Solana. But since we're below that 200-day moving average, I think you guys know my thoughts and opinion about the 200-day moving average. Anytime you're below the 200-day moving average, especially on the daily time frame, you have to consider at least being bearish, okay? Or maybe neutral on the asset, okay? I always say, like, every time you're below the 200-day moving average, you're kind of in the bear market, okay? On that asset, okay? Doesn't mean it has to be for the market in general, but on this asset, you know, I sold a good majority of my Solana back here in February of 2025 because I saw us lose that 200-day moving average, and then look what happened. You know, we kept bleeding down, and we saw Solana go as low as $95 in April. Okay, does Solana need to do that again? I don't know, but we want to start seeing Solana make some higher lows and higher highs in order for us to continue being bullish on Solana. And right now, you're making lower lows and lower highs. So Solana is in a downtrend right now. Okay. But it's kind of creating almost a falling wedge. Maybe a descending channel, actually. Let's see. I'm just gonna connect the highs here. No, it's a falling wedge. It's a falling wedge on Solana. Okay. And a falling wedge is a bullish pattern. The probability of you going to the upside versus going to the downside is higher. So Solana should, if it's going to be bullish, it should start going to higher prices, and you'll see Solana higher than where it is right now if it breaks out to the upside on this falling wedge, which, you know, falling wedges do normally do that. They break out to the upside here, but it could just kind of like fart around a little bit and just go sideways, and it would still count as breaking out to the upside, but just not as strong and vigorous as you would like to see. You would want to see Solana get above the last significant high, you know, the last lower high here at $1.68. Okay, So I'm sorry, not $168. I want to see $168 Solana all over again to confirm that we actually can still make higher highs here on the price. And I think that's where the 200-day is sitting at, right? Yeah, right now the 200-day is sitting at 170 bucks, and you got your last significant high here at 168 bucks. I want to see 168, $170 Solana to get bullish again on Solana. But let's see. Just continuing here with the analysis here on Solana. If I did a fib retracement, let's see, where could Solana go next year if it wants to continue respecting the TA on the fib levels? I mean, 0.236 retracement says that Solana could come down to $117, and it wouldn't be a surprise to us for the Fibonacci traders out there. But would be nice if this is just going to be a 0.382 retracement at 130 bucks, and we just consider that the higher low here for Solana. Yeah, we came down a little bit lower than that, 126 bucks on Sunday. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see. You know, right now Solana is actually going up as I'm talking about it right now. We are near the highs for today. $137.50 was the high for Solana today, and we're pretty much getting some bids right now, so we'll see. We'll see. If Solana does continue going higher, I would expect it to try to get back to this golden pocket between $152 and $155. And then you got the 786 retracement, $168, which would be really nice. I think if you're day trading Solana, you should probably consider $168 as your take profit target, which is also where the 200-day moving average is going to be. So I think Solana upside is 168 bucks. Downside, you could see 117 bucks if you continue going lower. Alrighty, let's see. What have I missed? Anything in the chat? CC. CC says thinking people will refinance and get loans when rate drops. Yeah, I guess that would be the bullish catalyst for SoFi. Is if they start lowering interest rates. That'd be bullish for the entire market if they would lower interest rates. Not just SoFi. A lot of banks and financial companies would do pretty well, including crypto as well. CC, you're hoping that SoFi goes down in price so you can buy some more? Sounds like a good plan to me. And you're saying you're waiting for about $14.75. Okay. Yeah, it seems like you're going to have to wait, CC. You're going to have to wait. But I think SoFi could start, you know, trending downwards to lower prices, and then you can get some cheaper SoFi. All right. Mario asking me, what are my thoughts on TARS AI? Alright, let's take a look at TARS AI. Appreciate the request. Don't forget that the like button if you haven't already. Let's see how we're doing on the likes on my YouTube stream. Now we're doing pretty good on the likes. Appreciate that. Seems like normal. Okay. But if you guys are new to the channel here, don't forget to hit the follow button and the subscribe button for my YouTube guys. Alright, let's look at TARS AI. Alright, where is this thing? I guess I have to do it like this. Does that seem to be right for TARS AI? Is that the price currently trading at 7 cents right now? I think this crypto hasn't really been on any exchanges, so I can't really get data for it on the exchanges, but this is the best I can do so far for TARS AI. Looks like TARS AI has seen better days here during the little mini altcoin season. December of 2024, we saw TARS AI as high as 49 cents. And right now this thing is trading at 7 cents, so this thing has almost like a 90% discount from where it was back in December. Let me just measure that out real quick here. Like 49 cents, right? down to where we are right now. Yeah, 85% drop on TARS AI since the prices that it had back in December here. Wow. I mean, there's a lot of altcoins and some AI coins out there that have dropped 90%. So this doesn't surprise me at all. I'm just trying to familiarize myself with TARS AI along with other people who have no idea what TARS AI is. This thing, you know, looks like it bottomed out and towards the end of April here. Like a lot of other assets around the world, you know, it seems like April was like the low for the years, unless we get more bad news in the markets. But TARS AI was able to try to start to recover from the lows here in April, and we've seen it get as high as what, 14-15 cents here towards the end of April. But looking at the TA here, you can see the TA is getting respected. The 100-day, I know some people don't use the 100-day moving average, but I would suggest putting in the 100-day. My 100-day is this blue line right here, and the 100-day is acting as resistance, right? So if you're wondering like why is the price not going up, it could be a moving average that you're not using on your charts here. In this case, the 100-day moving average is acting as resistance. So whoever's trading and investing in TARS AI in large amounts here, they're probably eyeballing the 100-day moving average and using that as their decision as to when they're going to sell. Because it looks like the selling starts coming in when we hit the 100-day moving average on TARS AI. And right now the 100-day is sitting at 10, almost 11 cents right here. 0.108 cents to be exact. If you're day trading or swing trading TARS AI right now, I would consider maybe putting in my sell order at the 100-day moving average, okay? Sitting at about roughly 10 to 11 cents here. And let me just draw things out here, guys. We're just game planning this. If you're in a long on TARS AI and you're waiting for this thing to bounce up to the 100-day, yeah, when it gets up to that 100-day at a 10 to 11 cents, I would sell. You know, take profit. Take some profit, right? Because it could get rejected and come right down, okay? But even if it didn't come down, right? If it actually decided to go up on you, that's okay because you still made profits, and then it might end up coming right back down to where you sold it at, and then you can buy back in again and then catch that next wave up on TARS AI. And if TARS AI continues going to higher prices, then I would probably maybe consider selling it at the 200-day moving average, sitting at about 0.167 pennies, about roughly 16 pennies here. And yeah, I would sell something if it gets to 16 pennies, because you're basically doubling your money from where it is right now at 7 cents. You're going to be doubling your money on TARS AI. So I would consider that as another take profit target. So just drawing things out here and highlighting things. I think, what do we say? We said 11 cents. That should be your first take profit target right over there. And then your second take profit target is going to be where the 200-day moving average ends up being at, like 16.5 cents roughly. So you got your take profit target 1, take profit target 2, okay, on TARS AI. That's how I would play this asset if I was longing it. I'm just cleaning things up here. And this doesn't seem to be not that bad of a long to take, because you can put your stop loss right below the candle wick low here on Sunday. This thing came as low as 6 cents, so maybe like 5.5 cents. Yeah, you put like a 5.5 cent stop loss, and you're not risking that much. Let's see, if you put 5.5 cents on your stop loss, what are you risking here? About 24%. Yeah, you're risking about 24%, but you're risking 24% to hopefully try to make on your first take profit. You're looking for a 52% gain, and then if you go to the second take profit, you're looking at 129% gain. So you're risking 24% to try to make 129%. Not that bad of a trade. Let me just try to do a I'll do a long position and see what that looks like here. Okay, so right, I put the stop loss at like 5.5 cents, roughly, and we're buying right now at 7 cents. Your first take profit, like I said, you know, it's about 50%, and then your second take profit is going to be right here at about 16 cents. You got 128% gain. You have a risk reward ratio of 5.28. That's good. Anything more than 3 on your risk reward ratio is a really good trade to take. Anything less than 3 is not that great. So this first take profit target is actually at 2. So you have a 2-to-1 risk reward ratio on your first take profit. That's not too bad. You're still making money. But you want like more like a 3 on your risk reward ratio. And right here, you know, at 16.5 cents, I think that's, yeah, you got a 5-to-1 risk reward ratio. Worth taking the bet, in my opinion. Alright. Things kind of died down in the chat on my YouTube here. Let's see how my TikTok guys are doing. Hey, Mar. Mara's asking what's going on with Bitcoin. We talked about Bitcoin early in the live stream, but we'll take a look at it again for you. Alright, and let's see. Hey, Kobe. How you doing? You sent me some messages? That's awesome. I'll have to take a look at them after the live stream. Alright. Let's look at Bitcoin again. I actually bought the dip earlier this afternoon on Bitcoin, and then I sold. Oh wow, okay. Looks like Bitcoin is making some moves here again. Currently at $102,000. Let me go ahead and get rid of some of this previous analysis here. So I was eyeballing on the daily time frame here that Bitcoin was kind of like almost in a slight falling wedge here. And a falling wedge is a bullish chart pattern. Usually they break out to the upside more than they break down to the downside here. So maybe that could be the possible case here with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin was to continue going to lower prices here, I do have this purple buy zone here. And the reason why I identify that is because you have a bunch of moving averages that could act as support on the daily time frame at like $95,000 and $96,000 Bitcoin here. You also have some sideways trading price action back in late April, the last week of April and the first week of May, where a lot of people bought Bitcoin at $93,000 to like $97,000. So these people are still in profit on their Bitcoin. They're not going to click sell. I don't think they're going to click sell unless they want to take their profits right now, but they're not going to panic until Bitcoin goes below 93K, and then they might start panicking and hitting the sell button here. But yeah, let's see. Where could Bitcoin go next? I did do a Fibonacci analysis. Let me do that real quick here for you. Like 112,000 down to the lows from yesterday at $98,000 Bitcoin. And I'm eyeballing if Bitcoin is going to continue doing a vigorous recovery from where it is right now. You got the 0.618 level that says that Bitcoin could come up to $106,700. I think that would be a good take profit target if you're swing trading Bitcoin. Now, if you're day trading Bitcoin, you're probably going to be eyeballing this 0.382 level. I think Bitcoin could possibly get up to $103,000. It could happen today. Could happen later on, maybe tonight or tomorrow. But you do have a 0.382 retracement saying that Bitcoin could get up to $103,400. Let's go into the 15-minute time frame for my day trading guys here. All right, so I have this downtrend that Bitcoin's been in. You know, obviously we know Bitcoin's been making lower highs and lower lows here. But could Bitcoin actually break the downtrend and start maybe going to higher prices here? Looks like it's currently doing that right now. We'll see on the 15-minute time frame here. I would expect Bitcoin to maybe try to retest the downtrend, come back to like $102,000 or 102,200, and then try to launch from there to go to higher prices. But on the 15-minute time frame, you know, look at this. Bitcoin is just playing games, a lot of head games here. You got, you know, a fake out to the upside, and then the fake out to the downside. So you got your bull trap here, and then you got bear trap here. And no one really knows where Bitcoin's going to go, for the most part, because it's just playing games here. A lot of sideways chop. But as long as you're above the 200 moving average, this red line, you could consider being bullish on Bitcoin. And also, you're creating a higher high than this last previous high here at 10 o'clock in the morning. We saw Bitcoin as high as $102,660 on the 15-minute time frame. We got above that high, so we are making higher highs on the price here for Bitcoin. I would expect Bitcoin try to retest this, and it looks like we're getting that retest right now. We'll see if it's going to respect that or go a little bit lower, but we could get a bounce off of this area. Be on the lookout for that, and we could see that $103,000 on Bitcoin. I'm actually a little bit anxious to get into a long on Bitcoin. I made a little bit of money catching this bounce and just selling near the 200 moving average here. But it looks like we continue being bullish here the last 30 minutes, last hour here. Let me pull up the oscillators, see what the oscillators are doing here on Bitcoin. We're not even overbought on the RSI, so that's good to see. At least on the 50-minute time frame. MACD, you're starting to get some buying pressure showing up with these green candles on the MACD, so that's good to see. Okay. Stochastic RSI is a little bit high, but that just, you know, that's just evidence that we've made a little bit of a run here. We could always stay high as the buying pressure continues. And then let's see. You did get a green dot here, a buy dot, saying that you should have bought Bitcoin at 115 about 30 minutes ago. But that only showed up after we already had a few green candles here. So we are in a uptrend. We're catching some bids here on Bitcoin for sure. And then the next dot's going to be a sell dot. You just don't know when that's going to happen, but when you see that red dot show up on Market Cipher B on the 15-minute time frame, then it probably means that the run is over, and you should consider selling if you're day trading, selling your Bitcoin and taking profits. All right, let's see. So that's Bitcoin on the 15-minute time frame. Let's see what it's doing on the 5-minute time frame. Also above the 200 moving average, above most of the moving average on the 5-minute time frame. That's good to see. Turn on the oscillators here real quick. We were overbought on the 5-minute just now. And MACD is starting to show some buying pressure starting to die down. So I'm expecting Bitcoin just to come right back to the moving averages again on the 5-minute time frame. That's where I would put a buy order in and see if it stays. But I would probably look to add to my position and see if we can catch like some of these lower prices here. If Bitcoin comes right back down to $100,000 Bitcoin all over again, I would try to put in some buy orders in, see if they get filled at that area. Let's take a look at the 1-minute time frame. 1-minute time frame, Bitcoin is also above all its moving averages as well. Obviously, we got overbought about 30 minutes ago. And looks like traders are taking profit. Day traders are taking profit right now. I would expect this to come down to the 200-day moving average at the very least. Let's see if we get a bounce at that area. $101,400 is where this 200 moving average is sitting at. So now you can do a Fibonacci retracement, right? You can do a Fib analysis on this. You got the high here, you got the low here, and we can figure out where Bitcoin might go next. using the Fibonacci tool here. So measuring from the high here, it looks like we got as high as $102,700 Bitcoin. So in that area, down to the lows here at $99,000 Bitcoin. Right, we got as low as $99,600. And I'm just looking for some confluence. I'm trying to see if any of these moving averages are gonna hit the Fibonacci numbers here. I think I can see some confluence at the 200 moving average right next to the 618. You got the 618 saying $101,600, and you got the 200 at $101,400. I would start putting in some buy orders right between maybe like $101,500 Bitcoin. See if that gets filled. You could come down lower. I mean, if this gets violated, then maybe the moving averages here, the 50 and the 100, might act as support. But yeah, let me just do that. If Bitcoin's going to continue remaining bullish, though, we might not come down to the 0.618 on this 1 minute time frame here. We might actually just hang out near the 786 if that's the lowest we're going to go here. It'd be a very shallow retracement, but if you're a little bit anxious to get in on this day trade, you could buy now. And you put your stop loss right below this last candle here at $102,000 Bitcoin. That's if you're anxious to get in. I can have a little bit more patience. I've made some money already today. And I would wait for the one, I would wait for the 0.618 level here. 101,600. Try to get a better deal. All right, we got some people here on the chat, guys. If you have any altcoins you want me to take a look at, I plan on staying live for about another 30 minutes here before I have to start doing some things around the house. I got a nice pool day. I might go hang out in the pool later. So Mara's asking, no $95,000 Bitcoin. $95,000 Bitcoin could be a possibility. Let me just zoom back out again. Look at the daily chart here. Get rid of this stuff here. So we are in a falling wedge here on Bitcoin. Usually falling wedges break out to the upside more. So I would expect Bitcoin to, at its best, to go to higher prices than where it is right now. Maybe at its, if it's just not going to get that vigorous, price actions to the upside, maybe it just goes sideways and stays at $102,000 Bitcoin. But there is a slight chance that we continue staying in the falling wedge that we're in right now. And you might see $98,000 Bitcoin all over again. But I don't know if we're going to get down to $95,000 Bitcoin. We would have to start seeing some more bearish catalysts and bearish news and bearish price action. But here's the thing, Mar, you're not the only person that's looking at the 200-day moving average. Everybody else is looking at the 200-day moving average. They're looking at those moving averages as well, especially on a big asset like Bitcoin. And you might get front run. People might start buying Bitcoin at $96,000 or $97,000, and we might not ever see $95,000. So $95,000 is a good, zone or a good range to think about buying some Bitcoin. But if you're anxious, like some of these other traders out there, to buy Bitcoin below $100,000, it's going to get bought up before it gets down to $95,000. The moving averages is a good point of reference, but it doesn't mean that it has to come down there. You could get front run. So just keep that in mind. Right now, the likelihood of $95,000 Bitcoin is not that good from what I've seen on the charts, but it's still a possibility. Hope that helps. But yeah, I still got this purple buy zone You know, I think if Bitcoin does come down here, we'll probably go sideways for a little bit before we make our next move, whether it's up or down. But I think if Bitcoin does come down to this area, you'll get a lot of support between $93,000 and $97,000 Bitcoin. All right, so Bitcoin is looking pretty solid at $102,400 now. Climbing almost up to the highs. The highs for today was $102,700 Bitcoin. I'm a little bit anxious to get in the trade, guys. It looks like the bullish move is going to continue here around Bitcoin. So we had like a little bit of a shallow retracement, and looks like they want to send it higher on the 5-minute time frame here. Let's take a look at the 1-minute time frame. Yeah, so let me go ahead and just do that fib retracement. Looks like we only got a 786 retracement on Bitcoin. So far. We came down to that 786 retracement at $102,000 Bitcoin, and we caught the bounce. Caught that bounce. They're respecting that 786 retracement right now. But I don't know. We are kind of on the 1-minute time frame. We were making some lower highs. This could be a lower high. We got to get above $102,614 here on Coinbase Exchange. Oh, did they listen to me? Are they? If we get above that, then I think this is just the higher low here, and we're gonna go to higher prices here on Bitcoin. I haven't really been following the news. Somebody told me earlier in the live stream that Iran sent missiles over to a United States base in Qatar. But yeah, I think that's the reason why we got the drop when I first started the live stream here on Bitcoin, but maybe that's over. I don't know what's going on here. I have to look at the news after this. I mean, I guess I could look at the news with you guys, but we'll stick to the requests. I see we have a request for Pudgy Penguins. Okay. And Florida in here says $1,800 Ethereum. I guess we could look at Pudgy Penguin and Ethereum. Let me look at Pudgy for my buddy here, Mar. And then we'll look at Ethereum after that. See if it's able to go to $1,800. Alright, Pudgy Penguin. Alright, let's go into the daily time frame here. Pudgy Penguin currently trading at 0.008 pennies right now. Not that much data on Pudgy Penguin. This is a relatively new meme coin. Started trading on Coinbase in February of 2025 here. I do have previous Fibonacci analysis here. I'll go ahead and get rid of that for now. Always put it back on later. But I think I want, yeah, so here we go. Alright, so here we go. Daily time frame. Obviously this thing had a nice stellar move here in May when Bitcoin went up to $112,000. This thing got as high as like 17 cents. Looks like on Pudgy Penguins, you are also in a falling wedge here. Or maybe a descending triangle. We'll see how it plays out here, but you got yourself the falling wedge all over again here on Pudgy Penguins. Falling wedges, they break out to the upside most of the time. Sometimes they're not as vigorous on the breakout and they just might go sideways. But you should see this thing go up in price rather than go down. If it does go down, then yeah, I mean, there's a possibility you could retest the lows here back in April when we saw this thing as low as 0.0037 pennies. Now we'll just have to see how this falling wedge plays out, but keep in mind that this thing might go up, get rejected, come right back down, make a lower low, confuse people, then go back up again, and then come back down and make another lower low and stay in the falling wedge. We'll see how that plays out. Okay. I'll probably put the stop loss right over here on Pudgy Penguin at like 0.006 pennies. Because if you put it too tight, they might come and they might stop you out, send it back up to higher prices again, and then come back down below your stop loss and bring it even further down. So I think stop loss, a loose stop loss at 0.006 pennies is where I would game plan along on this asset. And then we'll just have to see how far it can possibly go. Let's go ahead and do a Fibonacci analysis on this. Starting from the high down to the lows here. So price action currently sitting just under the 0.382 retracement at 908. If you do continue being bullish, you could get up to the 0.5 at 1071. But I think if you are going to continue being bullish, then you have to start sending this price to higher prices, and you got to get up to the 0.618 at 1234. And that's like right where this last lower high is sitting at like 1241 and 1253. So I think this thing can get up to the golden pocket, and you could day trade it. And I would put the sell orders in to take profit in this area at 1234, 1278. See how it reacts. And if the thing's going to continue being bullish, and of course, yeah, it's going to probably maybe continue to the 0.786 at 1465, which is like another lower high right over here back in May. And then maybe you could see this thing get up to like 1760 here. And you'd basically be doubling your price. I mean, you'd be doubling the money on Pudgy Penguins if it gets up to there. But let's first try to work on getting to these levels here and also that golden pocket. I think the golden pocket, I would sell the majority of my my long in Pudgy Penguin if I was long in it. Maybe hold on to a little bit to see if it goes a little bit past that. But I would sell the majority of my first take profit would be right here. And then my second take profit might be the 0.786. And then third take profit might be right here at 1760. That's how I would try to dollar cost average out of that asset. Alright, let's take a look at Ethereum. It's currently trading at 22.98. Let's see what's going on here. TikTok. Nope, I'm still here, TikTok. Thank you. What? Come on. Alright, there we go. Alright. Ethereum currently trading at 22.94, up 2.9% today. Ethereum made the lows for Sunday at 21.13. I believe was there a moving average around there? There was, yeah. The 50-day is where we caught some support. So those who are using moving averages on Ethereum, they saw Ethereum get down to the 50-day, and that's where the buy orders start coming in at around 21.34 for Ethereum. So as long as Ethereum is able to stay above the 50-day moving average, you can be cautiously optimistic on Ethereum. It would be nice to see Ethereum catch some bids and get above the 200-day, sitting at 25.86. But I think that's going to be your resistance for now, is this 200-day moving average. For those who like using moving averages on crypto here. Now, I did have someone say that Ethereum could go down $1,800, which would pretty much put it back to where it was in the beginning of May before it caught this this little bull run that it went into. That would basically erase all the progress that Ethereum made. So I'm not sure how likely that is to happen, but if it does come down $1,800, that is a support zone because you have a lot of daily candle closes around that area. people that were buying Ethereum in late April, they're still in profit right now. But if it comes down $1,800, they'll just be at break even, and they probably won't sell until Ethereum gets down to like $1,700, and then they'll probably give up on Ethereum. So let's see if I can do a Fibonacci analysis on Ethereum. Measuring from the high here at 2880 down to the lows here at... Did we get down to $1,300 Ethereum? Yeah, we did. 1383. April 9th. Wow. Okay. So yeah, I got some fib levels to work off of now. And yeah, I've been eyeballing the $2,100 level for Ethereum because the 50-day moving average and the 0.5 retracement were showing confluence in that area. So that makes a lot of sense why Ethereum caught the bids over here yesterday at the $2,130 level. If Ethereum is going to lose this momentum and come down, then I would expect us to get another bounce off of 2133. And if you lose that, then maybe we come down to the 0.382 at 1956. That could also be another level for Ethereum. That it doesn't really show up on the chart. If you're a moving average guy, you probably don't see it. But if you're using Fibonacci, 1956 might be where we get a bounce if Ethereum does go down to that area. In the meantime, though, I think Ethereum is going to start recovering, and it's going to we're probably going to get a little bit of resistance at this golden pocket at 2311 and 2359. So we're getting really close to that right now. We're at $2,300 Ethereum right now. But once we make it past $2,300 here, then you got the 786 retracement at 2564. Probably going to be where we get the majority of resistance for Ethereum, and then that's also where the 200-day moving average is sitting at. So I'm expecting a $2,500 Ethereum to be a good take profit target later on this week or next week if we get up to those levels. That's how I would trade Ethereum. All right. Mara says you're doing spot trading on Pengu. Nothing wrong with that. At least you don't have to worry about being liquidated as long as you're doing spot trading. And you probably don't need to because it's a meme coin. It already has the potential to make you a good amount of money without using any leverage. And if I did do leverage on something like Pengu, I would probably do like 2, 3, maybe 5x leverage. Unless I'm really confident in whatever move it's about to make. If I get like confirmations that it could go a certain area, then I would probably do maybe like 10x leverage on a meme coin. But that's about it. You know, I wouldn't really go crazy on the leverage. All right. So we talked about pudgy penguins and we talked about Ethereum here. I think that's going to be it for this live stream, guys. I actually am anxious to try to catch this move and do some more trading here. I did make some money on the bounce on Bitcoin earlier this afternoon, and I would like to do that again if I can. But I appreciate you guys coming on to the live stream and joining me. Be on the lookout for the next live stream. We'll try to go live. I got some things I need to do tomorrow afternoon, but we'll try to go live at like maybe like 5 or 6 p.m. tomorrow on Tuesday. And if I change it up on you guys, I'll let you know on my Discord. I have a free Discord that you guys want to probably check out here. Message me and I'll send you the invite link for my TikTok guys here. Okay. But yeah, I usually go live here. I post up when I'm gonna go live on my Meet Damien Discord. So go ahead and put in the requests for Meet Damien. And as far as my YouTube guys, I have a Discord link in the description. And let me see if I can I think I put it up in the live stream in the beginning, but I'll post it up one more time here for you guys. Let me see if I go ahead and put in that link here so you guys can join the join the Discord, and you'll know when I go live and if I make any changes here. Alright, yeah. Hey, what is going on here? Things are freezing up on me. Come on. Alright, so there's the Discord link. And I also post up on my Meet Damien Twitter. Let's see if I got the Twitter here. I usually post up when I'm going live as well on the Meet Damien Twitter. Alright, so you guys can stay in contact with me on Twitter and on the Discord. Florida in here, you're wondering, can I give you guys a trade? I mean, just if you want to trade Ethereum right now, if you're day trading Ethereum, I think Ethereum could push itself up to like $2,300 right now. $2,350 is where I'm expecting Ethereum to go to. Maybe later on today. I feel like the move has been made so far on this bounce. And if you want to do a swing trade on Ethereum, then you could probably see if Ethereum's going to get up to $2,500 later on this week here. Which would be like a 10% move, I believe. Let me just measure that out real quick. Yeah, about 12%, 10%, somewhere in that area. I would stick to the higher market cryptocurrencies like Ethereum, like Bitcoin, like Solana, and XRP if you're day trading and swing trading, because these other smaller coins are gonna have even more violent moves. I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to sustain that, but that's my trade for Ethereum. And then as far as like Bitcoin, I mean, Bitcoin's not kind of getting to like where I was expecting it to go. 103,000. I thought we were going to see $103,000 Bitcoin, and we're kind of getting that right now. So I would expect maybe Bitcoin could get up to $104,000 later on today. But I think you're getting close to being overbought on Bitcoin right now. Let's see, 15-minute time frame. I don't know, you can still probably go up to 104,000. Yeah, look at that, $103,000 Bitcoin. Yeah, so like, I think the move has been made so far. You could push up to $104,000 Bitcoin, but I think you're pushing your luck here, and you got to keep your stop loss tight because we could get the sell-off anytime soon here. But nice to see that we're getting a recovery here on Bitcoin. And yeah, guys, be on the lookout for my next live stream. We'll go live tomorrow, maybe same time or probably 5 or 6 p.m. Eastern time here. All right, take care, guys. I'll see you in the next live stream.